Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You guys are the greatest. I'd really like to thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. For those that don't know, this is the Thank You True Talent podcast, episode 14. This is June 26, 2017. I gave you 5 days in between for you to hear the last episode and this episode. And this is a Pai Mei P beat called President. You can lease it off of his website, Pai Mei P, that is PAIMEIP.com. He leased beats out for $30. Thank you, Pai Mei P. Been a homeboy for a very long time. Thank you for the love. I appreciate everything you have done so far for me by allowing me to use your production on my podcast. Thank you. Hats off. Now let's get straight into some topics I really want to talk about. And one of the topics I really want to talk about, I'm going to cut this music off right now. We got to really talk about this thing. Right now, there's an article going around about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite developers on the preserving depth on Gamespot.com. And one of the things they talk about, they talk about the gameplay, how things look, how Chun-Li's face is fucked up. And the number one thing that I really want to talk about on here is there's a question that was brought up. And Peter Rosa, a.k.a. Combo Fiend, who's the community manager, who also is a producer of the game, who's been producing a lot of these games and been a big help. And Mike Evans, who's also, I believe he's the producer, executive producer or the director. He's a guy that's important in the game. Haven't read the whole article, but I read some of it. But there's a question in there that GameSpot has asked. And the question goes, there was recently a leak about characters, and people picked up on the fact that there's a lot of classic characters aren't there. Specifically the XMen characters like Magneto and Sentinel. How do you guys feel about people being hung up on that? Peter Rosa, he responded with this. If you were to actually think about it, these characters are just functions. They're just doing things. Magneto, case in point, is a favorite because he has an 8-way dash and he's really fast, right? So our more technical players, all they want to do is try jump and that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Nova can do the same thing. Captain Marvel can do the same thing. Ultron can do the same thing. Go ahead, try them out. He also goes on to say, it's just the function that people are associated with the character, and there's no shortage of that. We made sure that all proper playstyles can be represented with our current roster. The design team has been looking at that very closely. We want to make sure that if a legacy character doesn't happen to make the roster this time, that playstyle will still be represented. That somebody who has associated themselves with Magneto won't be lost coming to this title. So that's how Peter answered that. You know, and he did come with some nice points about it, which is really good, you know. You know, he did say Magneto's a function. Well, it's funny because when I read comic books, I read the X-Men. I'm a big X-Men comic fan. I haven't read the newest run or Blue and Gold or anything. Recently, I wait for about a good amount of issues before I pick it up. Because I just want to read before I get hung up on a big story arc. And a lot of people, you know, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out after people played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and was very shocked that, you know, you had characters like Nova and stuff and not that many Magneto players are there because of you know, they have 8-way dashes, multiple characters. And he was considered a god, but many characters can be viable with the right assist. But Mike Evans, I'm going to skip through his stuff. Mike Evans has stated, what did he say? He said something that goes on there. He pointed. We're just gonna read the whole thing. Mike Evans. He says this. The other thing is, you mentioned returning characters, right? If you look at the returning characters and you play with them, you notice that they're quite different from the previous iteration. Iron Man, he plays completely different. He has a new special move. Obviously, we wanted to keep fan favorite characters, but since you have a new system, they're going to play differently. In addition to that, new special moves, new hypers, and new level 3s in some cases. These breathe new life into these characters even if they are returning. So we definitely making an attempt to do that. The X-Men stuff, I can't talk to, but I can do what but I do want to talk about the character selection process because I think it's important. There's three things we're looking at. Gameplay first and foremost, of course. The Capcom R&D team and us, we get together and we talk with Marvel about what characters we want to put in. For a character type perspective, we want our big brawler characters, our characters that can fly, our small characters or whatever. Just from the creative side, gameplay, here's the character we wanted. They play a part. One of the first things we did was sit down to write the story. We was thinking about the story we wanted to tell, as fans ourselves on both sides. On the Marvel side, there's Mike Jones, an ex-Capcom guy. We're big Marvel fans, so we sit down to just like, what crazy interactions do we want to see? We want happy. What would happen if Duckett? They spelled it wrong. What would happen if Duckett, Dante, and Rocket came together? What would happen? What would happen, and who are these pairs that we want to see? So from a storytelling perspective, that's also playing into the character selection. Then the third one is obvious the popularity of these characters. X was one we had to get in there. A lot of fans wanted to see X, so we brought him back. Then also we talked with Marvel very closely about their future roadmap, about what's going to be happening. Your modern Marvel fans, maybe they don't even remember some of the X-Men characters, but they know some of the Guardian characters or Black Panther. You know what I mean? Captain Marvel seems like a strange pit, but she's fantastic. She fits the gameplay, she fits the story, and they're going to be really pushing her as a strong female lead all the way up to into the movie. We're trying to take everything into account and choose the best character. So, he talked about the X-Men character. And real talk, let's go straight off the rip. Me and my girl just watched the X-Men first movie, the first X-Men movie by Fox. And that shit was all over the place. That shit made no fucking sense. Like, I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Senator Kennedy became a mutant at the Magneto said humans are superior or inferior to mutants, and he transformed him into a mutant. And I was like, why the fuck would he transform him and everybody into mutants? He went from, they had to give a reason to why he was a bad guy. Shit didn't make sense. If we go with the character select screen on Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you got characters. I'm not looking at the character select screen off the rip. Well, I'm going to do that now. I can remember, you got a Mega Red, you got Marrow, you have, who else is an X-Men character? You got Mega Red, you got Marrow, Colossus, who might be fun. You might have Juggernaut, but you got a lot of people that don't know, like, who Marrow is, who's Omega Red is, you know. Silver Samurai, they don't know who Silver Samurai is. So you got people like that. You got old heads who knows that, but new heads, kids don't, they're not big name characters in the Marvel comics right now. No, and Sparrow. Sparrow is not somebody that's who's an X-Men character that you go up and have a picture to a kid and they be like, oh, I don't know who that is. But you have like Storm and Wolverine that the kids know. They might know who Cyclops is, and they might know who Rogue is because of the recent movies. But besides that, you really don't have people that know these characters. People know who Magneto is because he's a major point of the X-Men. He's the polar opposite of Professor X. But that has nothing to do with that right now. What really it has to do with is that you can see the direction that Marvel is going. And Marvel has been pushing Captain Marvel, who is Carol Danvers, who was Miss Marvel, as the front runner. A huge front runner as the #1 female lead in the Marvel. No more Storm. No more Storm, guys. Storm was a big name. But no more Rogue, no more Scarlet Witch. It's all about Captain Marvel. That's the whole purpose. That is one of the main reasons you see her on a cover. Because Marvel is trying to push her. Maybe the movie might not be that good. But if you read anything, she is the front runner. She is the Chun-Li of Street Fighter as the poster child. The female poster character. That's it. That is it. X-Men has their characters, but the X-Men villains from the 90s is not going to be major hitters in the late 2000s. I'm sorry, guys. You can argue all you want. The X-Men team is not the X-Men team you guys know. The X-Men team has been split up into two teams, and people want to see characters like Gambit, Iceman, Colossus, and all them. And those characters are not major factors like they used to, guys. They're not like they're not the team. You got your team for X-Men Gold, I believe it's Storm, Kitty Pryde, and Storm, Colossus, Kitty Pryde, Iron Man. No, take that back. You got I'm looking at it right now. You got Kitty Pryde as the leader. You got Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Old Man Logan, and Prestige. Who the fuck is Prestige? Is that what they going with? Rachel Summers. Yeah, and I bet you she go by Rachel Gray now. Yeah, that's who your team is. That's your 6-man team right there. And many people are gonna be like, oh, that's Old Man Logan because of the movie, because of the thing. But when you have the blue team, X-Men blue team, you have the original X-Men with Jean Grey as their leader. The original teenager X-Men. So you got Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, and Angel with Magneto as their leader. So guys, it's like, yo, the things that they're fighting now is not the things that you fought back in the past. You have to leave it, guys. You got to pack that shit up. Things happen. Am I pissed off about it? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, because I want to see Sentinel. I want to hit him with the fucking frying pan, the hamburger helper skillet, that Timberland boot, all that shit. I want to fly on fly combos. But the shit ain't going to happen, guys. Unless a DLC come around. Like the rumor DLC, where they said Darkstalkers versus Fantastic Four and X-Men versus, was it X-Men versus Street Fighter? We're not going to get nothing, guys. On to another thing. So let's move on forward to the next thing. Right now, which was leaked yesterday, and now it's official, Super Nintendo Entertainment System Mini. The SNES Classic is coming out. 21 games is included. And one of the games that I'm pissed off that's not in the game is Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is not going to be on there. The games that's included, but I'm not going to lie, this is amazing fucking pack. Not going to lie. I'm pissed Chrono isn't on there, but it's still a dope ass pickup. You got Contra 3, Alien Wars, amazing game. Donkey Kong Country, fucking great. Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, which should have been Chrono Trigger instead, but we're not going to argue about that. F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. I'd rather have Super Street Fighter 2, the new challengers instead, but hey, we're not gonna talk about that. Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, Legends of the Silver Star, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and Yoshi Island. And then if you beat Star Fox 1, you'll get Star Fox 2, which was never released. It was all the way done, complete, but it was never released. This is for me. For me, this is what I would have done. I'd have took out Final Fantasy 3 and would have dropped in Chrono Trigger. I would have took out Super Ghost. Would have put out. Take out Super Mario World, and add Super Mario World plus Super Mario All Stars. But it gave you the 5 games for one. This was an arcade pack. And Super Goals and Ghosts, which I feel could have been a better game. I probably would have took it out for No, I would have kept put Final Fantasy 3 in there and Super Goals and took Super Goals and Ghosts for Chrono Trigger. Yeah. Yep, and then Street Fighter 2 Turbo would have been Super Street Fighter 2 The New Challengers. Those are the games I would have swapped out. But anyway, those are some pretty good collection. So those 21 preloaded games on there, it was really good. It's supposed to be launching on September 29th at $80. It includes a Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the Classic, with an HDMI cable, one USB charge cable with AC adapter, and 2 wired Super NES Classic control. Oh shit, you get 2 controllers. So, wow, you have 2 players. Wow, that is awesome. They brought it back to the old way when it's Nintendo. F-Zero's a big pickup. I like F-Zero, but you could have had Stunt Racers FX, or you could have picked up Uniracers, but you can tell with this list, Nintendo has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games on that list out of 21 are games made by Nintendo. So that's really good. I really give them props on that one. So we're gonna end up this podcast real fast. Remember, this is the Thank You True Talent podcast. And it's your boy Chauncy True Talent, aka Cobra Commander. Put him in the Cobra. Hashtag that stroke life. This is episode 14. This is June 26, 2017. Today's topics was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. X-Men characters are irrelevant. Off the GameStop website article, which will be in the link in the description, and an SNES Classic being released on September 29th, and the 21 preloaded games on there. Remember, guys, Chauncy True Talent. This is a Pai Mei P Beats production. Make sure you go to Pai Mei P, that's PAIMEIP.com for beats, least exclusive beats, all the things. He looks out for you. He's been a homie for a very long time. Knew this guy for over 20 years. So, holla at your boy. Remember, Cobra. Hashtag that stroke live.